Hey guys. So today we are going to be focusing on the standard that we've been focused on for a few days now, which is describing the three stages of cell division: interphase, nuclear division, and cytokinesis. And our objective will be to explain what happens in interphase, aka G1, S, and G2 phase. Don't forget to write that down. All right, so the cell cycle, we jumped into the cell cycle a little bit yesterday. Okay, this is our diagram of the cell cycle that we've been focusing on. Okay, it's largely broken down into two major parts. Okay, the two major parts are interphase, which is here, as well as cell division, which will be in red. Okay, cell division is that small part in red. All right. So that is what we've been focusing on. And those are the two major parts, interphase and cell division. All right. So we're going to analyze the diagram of the cell cycle really quick. So I want you to look at that diagram of the cell cycle that is on the screen in front of you. I want you to tell me a few things that you notice about interphase. Okay, think about comparing it to cell division. Think about what's going on in those three parts. Okay, but go ahead and tell me what you notice about interphase. When you're ready and you've had like one or two things written down, go ahead and press continue. So hopefully you notice that interphase is the longest phase of the cell cycle. It is a lot longer than cell division. It's like at least 3 times the length of cell division. Okay, so it's the longest phase of the cell cycle, and it occurs over 3 stages. It's broken down into 3 stages: G1, S, and G2. So you're going to do a little reading. It should take you about 5 minutes to read and answer the questions. Okay. Please make sure that you read and answer the questions on your paper before you hit continue. Okay. I will be checking for that, but you got to make sure that you're doing your reading and answering your questions before you hit continue. When you are ready and done and you have those 5 questions answered, go ahead and hit continue for me. So we're going to talk about these 3 phases, starting with G1. Okay, so G1 is the gap 1 phase. That's what G1 stands for, gap 1. Okay, in the gap 1 phase or the G1 phase, the cell physically grows larger, so it gets bigger. Okay, and the cell makes copies of its organelles. You know, we have each cell has organelles like its ribosomes, its lysosomes, its nucleus, all that fun stuff in there, okay, that each have different jobs. Okay, so the cell makes copies of those different things during the gap 1 phase. In the S phase, we have the synthesis phase. That's what S stands for, is synthesis. Okay? In the synthesis phase or the S phase, the cell makes a complete copy of its DNA, which is our instructions for how our cell is going to act. Okay? So the cell makes a complete copy of the DNA, and DNA replication occurs. Okay? So that's the major thing that happens there. Is the cell makes a complete copy of its DNA. And DNA replication is like a whole thing that we're going to talk about later, okay? But you do need to know that DNA replication occurs in the S phase. The last phase is the gap 2 or G2 phase, okay? In the gap 2 phase or the G2 phase, the cell grows even more. The cells make proteins and organelles, okay? And it prepares for cell division, okay? So it grew a little bit in the gap 1 phase. It's going to grow even more in the gap 2 phase. It's going to make those proteins that it needs, and it's going to prepare itself for cell division, okay? Because right after my gap 2 phase is when the cell goes into cell division, all right? So those are my 3 phases of interphase. when you are ready, you can go ahead and X out of this video and work on your comprehension questions. If you have any questions, let me know. Love y'all. Have a good day.